All right, good morning. Welcome to Gruber Power Hour. My name's Claude Dixon. I have Lenny Hodges to my left over here. Looking forward to this show. The main topic is going to be the conquest for rare earths. I think this is going to have to be a two-parter because there is absolutely a lot of material, and we don't want to rush through it because all of it is very important. But before we start into what the topic is, there's always something that we like to do in the beginning. We have a discussion slide, and then we go into a few did you knows. So Kazi, the slide is up already. Here it is. So this is a discussion topic. You know, change your habits, change your life. So let's see how many of these categories we fall into. Lenny, alcohol. Alcohol? No?
Rarely.
A little bit for me, rarely. Water, definitely. Junk food? How about homemade food? Failing? How about learning? Overthinking? How about actions? Oh my God, you don't know how much I see this. Just flat out overthinking and then not getting a dang thing done.
You get into your own head and it just spins and spins and spins.
Yeah.
And you can't get out of the cycle.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you have 4 or 5 people waiting on you to come up with a course of action, and you just simply can't come up with it, right. Or you have to just go elsewhere.
What do they say? You can't get out of your own way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big one in business, just overthinking some of the most simplest things. Blaming. That's a big one. I think that's the first thing that comes to a lot of people's minds versus taking responsibility. We're trying to shift. In fact, I think we've done a pretty good job of shifting that culture here in GPS, where, you know, the blame game isn't going to get us anywhere, but, you know, taking responsibility for what each of us are here to do.
I think that, I'm sorry, but I think that comes down to more of like, when it comes to that blaming and nipping in the bud, is education.
Yeah.
And communication with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The more you communicate, the more you educate, the less blame to go around.
Yeah, yeah. Look at the next one. How many of us have these type of folks, we have allowed these type of folks to come into our lives? The toxic so-called friends. You know what? I'm 62, and I think back over my life, I think I've had a lot of mentors, a lot of people that have guided me and have, you know, they've been true,
right?
You know, and I know there's a lot of people out there that can't say that. You know, it starts with your upbringing, with your parents. I was fortunate enough to have both my parents in my life all the way, you know, until I left home, and so that's been a good thing.
I had a bunch of mentors in the military, and I still have one I keep in contact with. He actually still lives out in Omaha, and if I ever needed to bend his ear on something, I've also got one who's down in Shreveport. He's a command chief down there, and if I never need to mentor or anything, hey, what's going on? You know,
yeah.
It's like you build those relationships. You try to hold on to them as much as you can. You know, obviously sometimes they'll fall off, but you're right though. Lifelong friendships, lifelong mentorship can really help you no matter what age you are or what part of life you're in. Yeah,
and you know, a lot of people think mentors are people that tell you what you want to hear.
No, a true mentor will. What I used to say in the military is, if I'm counseling someone or whatever, if the baby is ugly, you better tell them the baby is ugly. Yeah. There is no sugarcoating it. Just have some etiquette, you know, be cordial, but be firm and be upfront with them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. You know, I've also found that in life, that the people that smile in your face, those aren't the people. You know, those aren't the people. Those are the people that are actually walking into the next room and talking about you behind your back, or the ones that are smiling. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so glad, you know, that I don't have a natural smile. I smile when things are funny, but for the most part, I really don't, you know, walk around with a smile on my face. So how about complaining versus gratitude?
Well, complaining could be fun though.
Yeah, and again, I think we've moved away from that too. The whole complaining culture to a culture of more gratitude.
It creeps up.
Yeah,
it does creep up because emotions come into factor into it. I think when it comes to complaining, if you can't keep your emotions in check, or if you're just having a bad day or something just irked you the wrong way, it's gonna, you know, the complaint is gonna come out.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as you understand where someone's coming from, and you can talk it out afterward, I think you can smooth it over.
And we are human. So all of us at one time or another are going to complain. I mean, we're human beings.
I think it's always important to try and find the positive of something. Yeah, everything has a balance, right? So there's always a positive and a negative. The negative sometimes outweigh the positive, but don't ever forget about the positive. There's always something good that may be from a bad experience.
I agree. Totally agree with that. That's an excellent point. Excellent point. The Netflix series versus sleep.
I actually get both. I'll fall asleep watching Netflix.
Yeah, sleep is important. And then fake influencers versus inspiring creators. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. So just, some food for thought there, just to kind of open up the show. We have some comments up there right now. James Vega, good morning. Good morning to you, James, out there in California. Got one from Under the Radar. The older you get, the smaller your circle gets. Absolutely it does. Under the radar, again, it's easy to focus on what you don't have and you forget about what it is you do have. Very, very good point. All right, so let's transition over to some Did You Knows. We're going to have a little fun with this one. We're going to start with, there's actually two that we want to talk about. One of them is car production. So if you can, what country produces the most cars? Please do not Google it. It's going to pop. Stop. It's going to pop right up if you do. The country that produces the most cars. And here's the next one, kind of a little fun one here. Which country has the most beer consumption? Which country has the most beer consumption? Please.
Are you saying beer as in BEER?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My guess is Germany is one of the most.
That is incorrect. You're going to be, oh my God, who got it? You better not have Googled it.
What?
Let's wait for a few more to come in.
I'm trying to read that too.
What's that?
Grant Mobile.
Illegitimi non corrobundum. Okay. And then Under the Radar came up, has China. Kira has Germany. Grant has Ireland. I believe this is, now I'm kind of confused at which one is which here. So I'm going to assume China is vehicles. I'll do the obvious with Germany beer. And probably Grant Mobile will probably be Ireland beer as well. Latin.
Oh,
Okay.
it's like is it illegitimate non?
Yeah, but what is it? What does it mean? Define it. Illegitimi non corrobundum. Somebody define that.
That's what the Pope said yesterday, right?
Oh, okay.
Don't let the B word grind you down.
Okay.
Can't say it because we're on YouTube and TikTok. Can't say the bad word.
Oh, you can't?
No,
oh my God.
not particularly. It's the male version of the female B word.
Okay. So Under the Radar again, top 3 countries for beer: the United States, Canada, England. All 3 of those are incorrect. Let's keep going with this. You would think the USA, but it simply isn't. And again, this is beer consumption in liters. Do not let the BATARDS get you down. Okay, got it now. Thank you. It's not a bad word. Grant says it's not a bad word.
According to community guidelines, it is. But yeah.
Okay, so let's go over here too. Okay, here we go. Here's cars. Largest car producing countries. Can you get that slide up there, Kazi?
Do you know what is surprising about this?
What?
What's the biggest surprise in this? We have 4 and 5 of the largest car manufacturer plants here in the U.S. We have Nissan that's in Tennessee. You got Kia that's down in Georgia. And you got Dearborn, Michigan, where you got GM, Ford, and Chrysler, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not even on this list.
I know.
And now we don't make it here. We assemble it here. We produce it here, and the materials are shipped in, obviously. But you would think that us making them and then selling them back out, that we would be in that list, or having at least 5 of the major auto players here in the United States.
Yeah, you would think so, and that's one reason why you see the current administration doing exactly what they're doing. Look at that. I mean, we're not even, how many is that, 10, 8, 9, something like that?
In South Korea, they're actually their two biggest brands is they have three actually. They have Daewoo, they have Hyundai, and then they have Kia.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, look, and then of course we have the manufacturing plant down in Georgia for where Kia is assembled.
Yeah. China by far is producing the most cars in the world. All right, let's go to beer. Let's go to beer. Beer. Uh-oh, can't show you that one. There we go. Here it is. Beer consumption. China. Now, again, this is just in total liters. Now, everyone knows, well, mostly everybody knows that there's a lot more folks in China than there is in the U.S. So I have some per capita numbers for you as well, okay? But as far as just liters alone, China leads the pack, followed by the United States, followed by Brazil. I'm surprised, again, I guess, with China. You know, you wouldn't think, and you're going to see them. They completely fall off when you look at per capita. You know, how much beer are you consuming on your own in a year? Myself, how much am I drinking on my own? They're nowhere even close. China. In fact, there's really no Asian countries up there. So let's switch to that real quick. So the Czech Republic is blowing everybody away per capita wise. 152 liters of beer a year per person. Okay, per person. The next closest country is Austria at 101.
Wow.
Okay, major drop off. All right, the USA per capita is ranked 27, and the average person consumes 63.1 liters of beer every year. I'm not the average. I'm like way lower than that. Way low.
Yeah.
But that's kind of surprising because you think that we just drink, but we really don't.
Yeah.
Per capita wise.
And when it comes to China, they do have their beer, but they'll actually drink a lot of rice liquor, other things like that, and that's what they actually drink with their meals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of your Asian countries, Vietnam, Thailand. Philippines, Korea, so they do have their own beer. They do drink enough, but they'll drink actually hard.
Enough.
Oh, I've seen. But they like hard liquor, and they'll drink a lot of hard liquor. So that's I think that's what kind of plays into the fact that like us, we drink a lot of beer, but then we drink a lot of liquor too.
Yeah.
So,
We
got to get that number up.
Yeah, we do. Okay, let's go to here. Don't show this one yet, Cassandra. I want to hold on it. So we got one more question for the audience. This one does concern mining, so we're getting to the topic here. The deepest mine in the world. First of all, how deep is it, and where is it located? The deepest mine in the world. Okay, mine. We're not talking about drilling. Okay, we're talking about mining. The deepest one in the world. What country or continent? Okay, and how deep? What are your thoughts on that one?
My thoughts? I don't know. Is it tunnel mining or is it strip mining? Because there's a variation of that
Just
too.
mining, the deepest
Just
one.
mining in general.
I can give you
India. Oh, I thought I'd take
That's Asia.
I thought I'd take another. Yeah.
So I try to like make it bigger by going by continent. That might make it a little easier. Okay, we got 9,000 feet under the radar in China for the deepest mine. Okay, we're not getting much on that one. Okay, so the deepest mine in the world is located in Africa. Okay, South Africa to be exact, and it's 2.5 miles deep. It's a gold mine. It's called the Maypong mine in South Africa. Now, what's interesting about this, have any of you hiked down to the river in the Grand Canyon? Anyone in the room hiked down to the river in the Grand Canyon? Okay, that's a mile.
No.
That's a mile.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, so this thing goes on for another 1.5 miles into the earth. And when you're down at the river, the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon, everything is opened up. Okay, so you don't even know you're in a canyon when you're down there because everything is wide open. You got a river,
Right.
Okay, but this mine, think of that, being 2.5 miles down in the earth, and there's no light.
Yeah, there's no light. They don't make accommodations. They get you enough to get equipment in, get the people in, and be able to extract the minerals or whatever they need.
Yeah,
It's to minimize that because the more they have to cut away, the more equipment they have to bring down. It costs them more.
yeah, but just the safety ramifications too.
Yeah, that too. Because you want to limit access
Yeah.
to it, definitely.
And just an FYI, so if you focus and transition to drilling, the furthest a human being has been down in the earth is 7.5 miles. If you just look at drilling,
Wow.
okay. And just to put this in perspective, we're drilling and mining in the Earth's crust, which is where we're going with this topic. The Earth's crust, at the thickest point, it's 44 miles. Okay, at the thinnest point, it's 14 miles. So we haven't even been halfway down with that layer of Earth, drilling down or mining down. We're just like touching the tip of the iceberg when it comes.
Maybe 10%?
Yeah, actually less.
Less than 10%. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty amazing. All right, so let's go ahead and transition over to rare earths. Where are you, mister? So we have to show you this slide right here, because this is kind of like where it begins. This is the periodic table of the elements. There's 118 elements. 94 of them are naturally occurring. So the band of elements that we're referencing here in terms of rare earths are the blue ones going horizontally down at the bottom. I don't have a pointer, but the first one is lanthanum. It starts with an L with a little a. You can see that down there. And then you have cerium all the way across the board there to lutetium at the end. There's also a couple of rare earths that are in the light blue. You see the SC, that's scandium, okay? And then the Y below it is yttrium. Their atomic numbers are a lot lower, which means they're lighter, but their chemical elements, the chemical composition of those two are very similar to the darker blue across, so they're classified as rare earths. There's 17 of them. So I know that there's been a lot of talk, right, in the news.
Right, I got a question for you. What makes it rare earth?
Great question. It's first of all, it's a total misnomer. These elements, okay, really aren't rare. The issue is, in fact, you can find them basically all over the world in the Earth's crust, but when you find them, they're in such small quantities that it doesn't really make it economically feasible to set up, okay, to build infrastructure and mine these earths. So, and also, they're not single elements. And what I mean by that is if you find one, it's not like pure cerium.
Right.
Okay, it's in a rock. It's in a rock with multiple minerals, and you have to process it. You have to break the rock apart. You have to do a number of things to it just to draw out the actual.
And then you have the extraction of the other ones, and then what do they call the rest of it? Like some type of waste? Is there like a waste byproduct that comes from this?
Yes. Okay, let me give you this. So for every 1 metric ton of rare earth that is extracted for use, okay, you want to know how many tons of rock you have to go through? 4,000 tons, okay, metric tons of rock that you have to go through in order to get 1,000. Okay, so we're getting back on why it's rare. That's another reason why it's rare. And out of all that, you end up with 1 ton of radioactive waste. So that's one of the reasons why we don't do a lot of mining here in America, because of all the environmental concerns. And of course, we have so much red tape here versus a China who's dominating the market right now, in rare earths.
Yeah.
Great question, though. It's a total misnomer. They're really not rare. They're all over in the Earth's crust.
Yeah, I've tried to educate myself a little bit on it. It's like going down a rabbit hole. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It sucks you in. You go one route, and all of a sudden, oh hey, this sounds interesting. Let's go down this route again.
Yeah. Let me give you an example of what I was talking about in terms of separation. So what you have here, you have a piece of granite, right? So in this granite, there's 3 minerals. You have feldspar, you have quartz, and you have the dark mineral, the shiny dark mineral, is called hornblende. And what they're having to do is they're having to break this rock apart and say, let's say hornblende happens to be the rare earth. Okay, they're having to break this rock apart to extract that out. And here's what's really complicated about the whole process is even when you extract out the rare earths, there could be 5 different rare earths in the piece that you want, so you have to separate those two. So it's a long, laborious, dangerous, environmental, unfriendly process that has a lot of waste.
That kind of gives us an insight too of why some things are just outrageously priced.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's just a constant labor of doing it. And of course, like environmental issues too. I mean, how are you disposing of that nuclear waste?
Yeah.
You know, so somebody's got to pay for it. So it's got to do something. So, you know, like you talked about some of the minerals that go into your phones and computers and stuff like that. I mean, by learning how they have to extract, they have to remove, they got to dispose. Now we understand why things are priced the way they're priced.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a little bit of it, but at least kind of gives you a background on it.
Yeah, and how it applies to our business here. These rare earths, not all of them, but there's like 5 or 6 of them that are definitely in the equipment that we sell. They're in generators. Okay, the motors and generators have magnets, and that's like a major big deal right now. In fact, that rare earth, okay, that particular one, I want to say it is, where's it at on there? I want to say it's YB. If you look at YB, can't pronounce that. I'm not even going to try. There's 2 of them. Okay, those 2 rare earths have actually have been stopped in China from being shipped over because of what they're doing with the exporters. Okay, so there's a big hold on those because they go into all those different pieces. So generators, transformers, capacitors. The rotary UPS. I know we don't sell a lot of those. That's like 7.6% of the global UPS market, rotary UPSs, but these rare earths go into them. So it does affect our business, and even batteries, lithium-ion batteries. There's a couple of rare earths.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No.
I know it also, it actually is used in your wind turbines a lot. That minerals too, for the magnets, for the turbines they have in there, So it's like we're using it in so many platforms, but we're not offsetting, carbon footprint or anything like that.
Well, this is one for you.
And it's hard to recycle this stuff too, isn't it?
They're learning how.
It's
like an up and coming business because they're like. In fact, there's a company opening a recycling place here in Mesa for components to extract rare earths off of them.
Okay.
Like the circuit boards and things like that.
Right.
So it's up and coming because of what's going on in the world. You know what I mean? Now China's decided not to send 7 of the heavy rare earths. And by the way, when there's light rare earths and there's heavies, the heavies are basically on the right side of this strip that you see down there that we're referring to, atomic numbers 64 through 71. And the light rare earths are on the left-hand side, and then you have like 2 or 3 that are right in the middle. And they base that off of the atomic number, which represents the number of protons that are in each atom. So if you take, what's the number there, Lynn? Let me see. That's for luteum. What are you reading there? 71? Yeah, 71 at the top of Lu. So there's 71 protons in that atom, okay? That's what that atom contains, and that's how they're basing the weight, not by gravity, just by containment within the atom. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's atomic weight.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, actually, they call it technically atomic mass.
Atomic mass. Okay.
Yeah. So it's very interesting stuff. It is going to affect our business, and it is affecting our business right now, which leads me to the executive order. And then I want to let's go Ukraine first, since we just signed that deal. So let me put that up, that slide.
Okay.
Where you at, buddy?
It doesn't want to come out to play.
This is an interesting one. There it is. There it is.
One more.
Boom, right there. Okay, so we've heard a lot about Ukraine, right? We're trying to get a peace deal in Ukraine. So far, we've been unsuccessful. Okay, but it appears that we've been successful with the mineral deal, correct?
Yes, we actually the mineral deal was signed on April 30th, so it's just a little over a week old. There was some give and take going into the final deal. Both sides came to an agreement. There wasn't anybody pushing their complete agenda and bullying the other one into anything. It was actually a common, we want something, they want something. We give something, they give something, So it was a mutual agreement. It actually will help the U.S. and the Ukraine going forward. And what it's going to do is it's going to split profits. What I've read, and this is what I've gathered out of it, is that the money will be diversified between Ukraine and between the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is it just minerals, but any oil, any gas drilling new that's going on will actually benefit the U.S. and Ukraine also. It's not just, minerals or anything like that. Then also what we ended up doing is this is also driving Russia back to try to get a peace deal with them, because this is it's like a baby step to get the peace accords done with those guys. And then also it's going to allow us to invest in Ukraine. The money we're making, we're actually going to be investing back into it to help build the infrastructure. They're actually going to invest their money into building their infrastructure also. And the only big stipulation is that if any country helped fund Russia with the war effort against Ukraine, they will not be able to benefit from anything from this mining agreement.
Yeah.
Nothing from oil, nothing from gas, nothing from the minerals, anything like that. They can't benefit from it.
Yeah.
So as far as us exporting, they'll be able to export, but they're not going to make, they're not going to be able to get in on this agreement later on.
Yeah.
To benefit.
Well, let's step back for a second, because all this is right now is an agreement. All right, and I want to focus on this map for a minute. Very interesting. If you look at the pink portion, okay, that is the portion that Russia has taken at this point through the war from Ukraine. Okay, Crimea they already had, but the eastern portion there is the new territory that they're occupying right now. Okay, so if you look at where the minerals are, specifically rare earths, you can clearly see that the largest deposit of rare earths is in the war-torn area. Okay, remember, there's no infrastructure that's been built there in terms of mining. The biggest issue right now that's going to really hold this thing up in terms of revenue, like Lenny was referencing, the money coming in, if you want to put it that way, is the mines that are all over the place. It's going to take years just to make that, that terrain safe to mine. So when you start talking about dollars and how this is going to benefit the United States and whoever else is involved in it, you're talking it's far off. So essentially what we've done is we've agreed that, hey, guess what? Future, we're going to get these minerals, okay? That's what it is. So it's not going to be an immediate type thing. You can also see that there's titanium, zirconium, lithium also in Ukraine. They have some really large deposits that the United States will hopefully benefit from as well, but their main mission was to capture the green. And there are some green pockets. I'm saying pockets. It's a lot of land.
Yeah.
Where these minerals are, and but again, there's no infrastructure, because all the infrastructure basically is in China. China does all the processing. 90% of the processing of these rare earths takes place in China.
Really?
And some of them they have total market domination. Okay, promethium, total market domination. That's the rarest. In fact, it only comes in traces.
And you're talking about out of the 17 rare earth minerals. Okay.
Yeah. And there's 3 of them that they have total domination on, 100%.
There's also other minerals, I guess, outside of rare earth where we're actually totally dependent on them, like arsenic.
Yeah.
We import 100% of our arsenic from China. There's a few other ones too, and also I guess we import a lot from Canada. Surprisingly, Canada is a mineral-rich country. A lot of untapped potential there. But we actually, I think, we rely on China, and I think we import certain minerals. We import 50 to 70% from Canada. Also,
That's
it's
incredible.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Okay, so that's the Ukraine agreement. Now the executive order that Trump wrote. I believe he signed this executive order in early March. Okay, regarding what we were going to be doing domestically. Okay, with mineral production. So they go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah.
They've opened up the Mountain Pass mine, which is located in California.
Yes.
That really was at the forefront of the world. If you go back 2 decades, that particular mine was producing the most rare earth minerals, believe it or not.
Right.
It was. Not all of them, but like 5 or 6 of them. Okay?
Yeah, he's also talked about opening pockets of federal land.
Yeah.
On top of that, and I think up in Wyoming, Montana area also. I think Montana is what I read. They're looking for, because we have a lot of dense area up there that hasn't been tapped, that has, minerals and stuff that's safe environmentally for us to go up and do it.
Yeah.
As long as we do it the right way.
Yeah, well, here's the thing with that. When you talk environment, first of all, the biggest issue domestically is permitting. It takes, on average, we're like the worst country in the world in terms of speed of getting a permit to do mining. We're like the worst, believe it or not. And they call us the greatest country on earth, by the way. Okay?
It keeps people employed,
I guess
drag my
so.
feet with a form. I still got a job.
Yeah, and that's of course driven by environmental things.
It is.
A lot of red tape.
A lot of bureaucracy in it.
Yeah. So President Trump in his executive order has asked Doug Burgum and our EPA guy, what's his name? The Secretary of the EPA. I should know his name. He's from New York. Have asked them to look at the regulations that are preventing us from getting up and running. But there's another issue, big issue, with us getting up and running domestically. Do you know what that is, Mr. Electronics? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you. It's transmission lines. Okay, we are totally behind the 8 ball when it comes to transmission lines going across this country. So any new infrastructure that we want to build, guess what? The power is not there to even begin operations. So you're talking 7, 8, 9, a decade before we're actually up and running and extracting minerals out of the ground. So this isn't going to happen overnight, is my point. We're behind in a lot of ways with this whole venture, but I think our country, is headed in the right direction. Got to do something. Can't be totally reliant on other countries.
I think also it's also other, not just rare earth minerals, but other minerals like President Trump a couple of days ago mentioned about hey, we're looking to build a couple smeltering plants here to help with U.S. Steel, because we have the resources for that too. We just don't have the smeltering plants anymore. We shut a lot of them down once manufacturing, and once we started started buying from Canada, China. We shut down a lot of things here in the U.S. To make a profit, and I think that's come back to bite us now. Now we're too reliant on everybody else.
What do you think? What do you think about the Congo, the deal that we're trying to work with?
I haven't heard anything about that one yet.
The Democratic Republic of the Congo also has rare earths, and I believe they're like this close to signing a deal, another mineral deal. Excuse me, my voice with the Congo, and they're gonna, they want to trade security, because they're being attacked by these rebels that are based in Rwanda. Rwanda is back in Israel.
Back. Yeah,
they're saying, hey, come get our minerals. We'll work out a deal with you if you give us protection. So the administration also is working on that too.
We actually, in that Ukraine deal, we're not providing funding directly to them to support their cause against Russia, but we are going to assist them. Like when the bill was signed, or the agreement was signed last week, we already sold them $50 million in arms to help their war effort. It's not like we're going to be an open ATM anymore. We are still, according to the agreement, we still are going to support them for their war effort, but within reason, and they're going to actually have to pay for some of that going forward. So that was the other thing that was in the original agreement. They were going to use some of their mineral money that they made for profit to pay back to the U.S., but then it just became too much of a sticking point. Nobody wanted to budge, so they just took it off the table completely.
Yeah, I'm going to have to read more into that.
So it was surprising what the give and take that we had from each side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was really surprised. I was like, wow. I would have thought the two individuals most involved with this would have never been able to come up with this.
Yeah, you know, the main thing, I mean, the war is still going on. It's still raging on, so you can't even really take the first step in doing anything.
I heard, yeah.
So really our focus really should be domestically. And my personal opinion, and based off all the reading and research I've been doing, the rare earths are here. Right in our own country.
They are.
It's just a matter of regulations and a matter of our infrastructure being up to speed, which it's not.
Right.
So,
and of course, that's going to create more jobs.
Yes.
And help the economy, you know, put more money back into the economy. You know, everybody benefits from it.
Okay. Well, we're a little over, but I just wanted to hit one other topic that's really cool. It was shown to me yesterday actually working, ChatGPT. With GPS and all of our technical tips and also drawing in the web. And we're like on the forefront of being able now to troubleshoot really anything just by simply typing whatever it is we're looking for into this AI program, and it spits out what we're looking for. And I think it's amazing. I think the other thing, too, is it's going to be able to bring, you know, if you can say junior and senior technicians, it's going to be able to bring them basically all up to the same level. You still have to use the information. That's key. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So here, I mean, we're basically leading our technician force to the water. Here it is. Boom, everything you could ever want to know at your fingertips. Type in a word and boom, here it is.
Right.
Here's the procedure on how to fix this. Here's the procedure on how to fix that. So we're like at the forefront of this. I don't think there's anyone else out there right now in our industry that is creating this, let alone have it online and working.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, like you said, you lead on a horse of water. It's just like, not only do you provide the antibiotics, you still got to provide those tools for them too.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So just real quick, next week I will not be here on Friday, nor the following Friday. So Lenny and Elvis are going to take it over for the next couple weeks. I'll see you guys, I guess, the Friday after next. And we're probably going to come back and hit this again because there's a lot that we did not go over regarding rare earths. I didn't want to rush through it. So we're going to probably come back and hit this again upon my return. Now, what you all are going to do, I have no idea, but whatever it is, have fun doing it.
I'm going to throw lawn darts at people. No, let's just have fun.
All right, you guys, we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye.